right, hello, welcome you guys to Splat and Chat tonight, this evening, today, actually right now. I am in my living room in the morning, and I'm not going to go to the studio today to paint with you. I'm going to stay right here in the living room because the sun is shining and it's beautiful, and my husband's got a nice fire going, and I'm freezing, so I'm staying right here to paint with you. In fact, I'll be right here on this little corner. It's got the best light in the room. So we're gonna paint today. This will be really fun. I hope you're somewhere cozy too, especially if you are going to paint this as a couple tonight. That's so much fun. Welcome couples. If you're not a couple, welcome. Everybody, welcome, excited to have you. So a little hint, if you're doing this as a couple tonight, you can split the painting. Here's our painting that we're gonna be doing tonight, Lover's Lane. You can split the painting down the middle and try to create just one half. It's kind of a fun thing to do. Like a partner, do this side, you do this side. Or you can both paint your own separate paintings. Kind of fun both ways. So decide what you want to do. What we need is something to paint on. I'm painting mine on a piece of paper today because it's easy, it's quick, and it's something that I can frame easily. If you saw my picture of the advertising class, I put this in a mat in a frame, and it looks really pretty. So you can do that. If you want to do it on a canvas, do it on a canvas. If you want to do it on a box, a bag, anything you want, the paint will stick. Make sure you grab your water cup, your paper towel, your palette, your brushes.
You need a big brush, like this big flat, a smaller flat brush, and then a tiny little round brush.
And your paints.
So you need a bright lime tree green, regular colored green color, lighter petunia purple, a hot pink eraser, red apple, cameo pink, light blue, white, a darker chocolate brown color, and a black.
So you guys feel free to stop the video anytime to catch up or replay or whatever you need to do. This video will be on for a long time, so for your enjoyment. So watch as much as you need to, rewatch it, do it again with another person. No, don't do that, because you only have your one love, right? Or do it with a group of friends. Tell other people about it. Anyway, it's here for you guys' enjoyment for this Valentine's, because we love you. So let's get started. Let's get over in this nice warm corner and paint away. All right, we want to start out with a damp brush, big brush. We're going to put a little bit of blue and white on our palette. And we are going to, damp brush, dip a little bit in the blue, dip a little bit in the white. We're gonna have like a really light blue, okay? I'll start right up to the top. And we're just going to go back and forth across the whole top of our paper. And bring it down to about halfway. You can probably hardly see that. And you won't, we have all the trees on it. You won't be able to see the sky very well. Streakies are fun, so leave them in there. All right. Let's get a little bit of pink. Light pink. On our palette. And we're going to create the path. It comes down right here. Okay, so we're just going to take a little bit of white and pink together. Start kind of up here in the horizon. And take your brush and just make gradual, bigger strokes all the way down to the bottom. And I kind of like the top to be a little bit more white. So get some more white up there. I'm turning my brush kind of this way as well, not flat, but like this, to get some streaky lines in there, which are fun. Keep knocking the camera, sorry. Down to the bottom. It's kind of a triangle shape all the way down there. And there's our general path shape. Okay, rinse out your brush. You're going to start with some fun trees in the background, so grab a light brown. Actually, grab your brown. And we're just going to add a lot of white to it. Okay, I don't need a lot, obviously, like my little drop there. And we are going to start with a small brush on this one. Something like that. Get it wet, dry it off, and then we're going to take a little bit of brown and a lot more of white. And we're going to create a really light brown back in the background here. And we're just going to start making these tree shapes way off in the distance. I kind of like to add a little bit of water at the first part of it because it helps the trees kind of just hide. And just make these little back in the background little lines that are going across the whole horizon here. And that's actually a little too dark even, so I'm going to add a little bit more white to it to lighten them up a little bit. The more trees you add, the more foresty it looks. So see, I'm kind of just adding some random really light ones back there. Let's go to the other side. And then kind of make them kind of bumpy and tilty. Okay. And some of them we're going to want to add branches off of. Just all the way across. Okay, once you get some background trees, we're going to put some foreground trees in. All we need to do is add just a little bit more brown to our white. So make it a little darker, because they get darker as they come forward. And then we're just going to put them in between those ones, but down a little bit more wider on the horizon. So see how it's down from the other ones? And if you cover a previous tree, that's totally fine. They are way back there in the background, meant to be that way. Okay, let's do a couple over here. Make the trunks a little bit bigger at the base, and then make some branches off of these ones as well. Okay, once you get to that point, we're going to make some ones right in the big foreground, and that we need to do take lots more brown. Lots more brown on these ones in front. A little bit of white, but way more darker brown. So we mixing that. And you're going to put these guys kind of even more lower in the horizon than the other ones. It's not brown enough, get more brown on there. kind of taking the trees all the way up to this point and all of them. My palette. And I'm going to add just a little bit of black into my trees in the front because it'll make them stand out even better as they're like the foreground trees. Just making little small black lines throughout them. If it gets too black, just add a little bit more brown on top of it to hide the black. It's too much. You can add some white in spots too, just to kind of give it some variety. Let that dry for a minute. While it's drying, we're going to put a little bit of all the different colors of pinks and reds onto our palette. So we have a red, kind of a bright hot pink color. If I can get my paint to come out. Make sure you got a little bit of the pink that you used for the path still, and some more white. A little bit of purple. Just a little bit of purple. And we are going to start creating leaves up in the sky while we're waiting for our tree barks to dry. So get a size brush that's about like this. I kind of use a flared out one, if you can kind of see how it's flary. And just dip it, get a little bit wet, dried off. You're just going to pretty much dip into your colors and make little, see there's no branches up here at all. I'm just going to fill this whole thing in with leaves. You won't even know that there's no branches up there. So just start dotting it. You can turn your brush around here and there and make different shapes. Get out into the corners. Basically going to dot the whole sky here with all these colors. color. Let's throw a little bit of those in there. I didn't wash out my brush either. You can if you want to. Go right on top of the other reds and other pinks. You want to be able to see some of the blue still through the sky. Let's go right on top of your other leaves. Some places bring the leaves down a little bit. Into your forest a little bit. Okay, a little bit of white in there always makes it pop a little. I haven't rinsed my brush one time since I started. You can totally rinse your brush whenever you want to, but just like the mixture of colors. And then I also like to make little drippies coming down in here places. It's starting to look like a big forest in there. Some really light ones back in the background, just little tiny tops of light little taps to make these look like they have little trees back in here too. Okay, and then just a few purples, just a little bit of purple up in the sky here in the tree. Just here and there, just a few. Okay, rinse out your brush. Tree should be looking pretty dry, the trunk, so we're going to start adding some of our greens. And I'm going to do a regular green color. This is just Kelly green. And we're going to get a brighter green. This one's lime tree green. Okay, we'll get those on the palette. Take your brush, same one we were using for the leaves. We are going to actually dip into our pink a little bit again and give this path some dimension. So just kind of touch the edges of the path with a little bit darker and then drag out in spots. Just on the very edge of your path. Makes it look like it's tucked up under the leaves when they're down there, the bushes. Other side. Touch it here and there. Okay, then we're also going to give this a little bit of darker than just the pink. So let's put a little bit of purple on our brush as well. And just in places, we're going to add a little bit of purple to it. Make sure you're keeping your brush on this horizontal line and all strokes on the horizontal line as well. If you get too much, like I feel like I got too much there, just come back in. Kind of lighten it up a little bit with some white or pink or something, just to lighten it up a little. Okay, you can always fix it. Don't be like, oh, I just ruined it. No, you can fix it. Now let's give it some chunky whites and spots as well. Just a few. All right. right, so we have gotten to the path finished. The trees are almost finished. We are going to add the green to the ground. So we're just going to start with this dark green. And we're going to kind of try to get between our trees. Let me show you this picture real fast. Kind of between our trees, the bigger ones, and get the greens up in there. So I'm turning my, did you see that? I'm turning my brush this way, not this way, to get that in between. Okay, so let's go. Start up in here. And we'll just kind of go like this. I'm turning my brush this way and not flat ways, okay? Just bring some greenery down in here. We can always paint right back on top of our trees if we cover them a little bit, okay? So back in here, you'll just kind of cover in all your trees up in there. And then just bring the green up in there, up to your trees. Kind of like you did with the leaves, but just more close together, so it looks like a big clump. And you're gonna take it all the way down to the corner. See how I did that? Same thing on the other side, just start up here. Get in between your trees. You can kind of bring this path in as tight as you want it to be, and this, you know, romantic and squishy as you want it to be. Okay, just gotta bring those greens up in there. Trying to bend my arm around a tripod leg. So that's why you see me make this really weird thing with my hand. Just so you know, I'm not usually painting like that. Just try to get around a tripod here. There we go. So take that. Same thing with this. Take it all the way down to the corner. Okay, after you get most of that green in there, you're going to want to come back with a little bit of the light green in places on top of that. Okay, start over here on your drier side, and you're just going to add some brighter greens in there. Just here and there, back in here. You don't have to cover all that because you want to see that dark green too. Okay, just like right around your trunks where it looks like it didn't cover very good with the darker green, because the darker green doesn't cover very good. The lighter green will cover it a little bit better, so kind of get in there at the bottom of your trunks. See, that covers a lot better. If your darker green covered it good, that's fine, just go with that. Okay, so once we get the lighter green, it looks so much better already. You can see the difference of there's some depth in it, right? Okay, so there you go. I kind of have a higher halo on this side, and it's bugging me, so I'm going to add a little bit more green to this side, just to bring up the, bring up some spots back in there, because it looks like that's a bigger teal than that to me. If you got a spot like that that's bugging you, fill it and fix it. Okay, well that's drying, the green. This is the part we got to work on our trees just a little bit more. Just find that skinny brush again. Or a skinny brush, I don't know what I did with mine. And you're just going to come back in and touch over the spots that look like they don't they would be in front of the branch, in front of the tree right there. See those little spots? They look like they would be in front of the tree. Where the green has gone over top of the bark in places, if it's bugging you. If it looks fine to you, leave it. I kind of like my tree to look like it's in front on a lot of them. Little places like that are fine. So just kind of touch those spots up. I do that because these bushes back here are supposed to be way back in the background. And it looks funny if they're overlapping a tree in the foreground. So I just kind of touch them up a little bit. And get a lighter brown and come back here to my trees in the background. Kind of do the same thing where I put them in front of the bush and not the bush on top of it. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense what I was doing there. That has hidden that whole tree. Did too light of a brown, so I just come back in with some darker. Easily fixed, right? You can fix anything. Okay, so once you get your trees looking, oh, I got one here I want to fix. See the greens on top of that one? Just come back in. Get a lighter brown. Fix it. Easily fixed. Okay, and then we are going to get our bigger brush back again and add all these fun little leaves. Sorry, I shook the camera. All these fun little leaves or flowers or whatever they are. My daughter says that it's not fall in Valentine's Day, so they shouldn't be falling off the trees. So I said, well, maybe they're just flowers growing up to match the trees. So you get to decide what you think. We're just going to add them all over the place. So kind of just like you did, kind of more thick at the trail. So I'm going to just take my brush and just kind of put, I'm going really small in the background, just tiny touches. And then as I get closer to the foreground, I start making them bigger. You can put them out in here, just wherever you think it looks good. And I usually kind of do one color at first. Start with one color. Bring some of them into the path, of course. And then once you start, then you get done with that certain color, or a majority of that color on, then you can switch to another color. It's kind of what I do. Okay, let's go to like a red. Add some reds in there. Remember, small in the back. Get bigger as they go forward. To be really careful with this, because if you get it back on top of your trees again, you'll have to redo your trees again. So gotta be careful with that. That's no big deal to redo your trees again, of course. Or touch up your trees. You're not redoing the whole tree. You're just touching it up in spots that you accidentally, Plus, the more layers, the fun it gets. Right? The more texture and stuff you can add to it with the more layers. Let's put some more of these little guys out in the field out here. So you're covering a lot of the green that you put on there in the first place. I'm going to put a clump of red in places, because that's always fun. Do a clump of colors. A little red down in here. If you see any white spots, you know, that you want to cover up, do that. And there we go. I kind of just take a little bit of colors, just smaller bits with my smaller brush, and just add a few little drippies of the leaves and things up in here to make it kind of have a little bit more detail. Smaller leaves, I guess. Okay, and then just finish with whatever you think, wherever you think it needs something. I think it needs maybe a leaf or two in the path, so just gotta make a few. Then you want to find your smallest brush and carve some initials. Now here's the problem. Look what I did. I made a tree. I didn't make a tree big enough, I don't think, for initials over here. And if that's the case, find another tree. You can do it here, or just make the tree bigger. Very easily done. I'll show you that real quick. Just in case you did the same thing I did. You can't see the difference between those two trees here, so I'm going to bring a little bit of dark in there and make that tree stand out a little bit more. If you made a wide tree like that, good, good, good. We'll just have to cover that with a few trees on the bottom, but that's a wide enough tree now that we can put in some initials in it, if you want to add that little detail. So you'll just take a little bit of light whitish brown and put a heart on there, paint some initials. I'm just going to go try to be as small and dainty as possible. Make it look like it's carved in the tree. That's always fun. It's still kind of wet, so mine's not picking up the paint as good as it could, but I just put some initials in. Our initials are M and J. That's what I put in every picture. Put what you want in yours. You can put dates and numbers. You could put some little arrows. A little arrow in there. Don't leave the arrow out. Whatever you want to do on your initials. And guess what? If you screw up your initials and they don't like them at all, just paint right back over top of them. You can see my sunlight coming in here. And do them again. So that's the beauty of it. I think that's the last thing. All right, you guys, we're running out of good light in this room. It's going to get too bright here soon. I hope you guys enjoyed that painting and doing that with me and with whoever you're with. You can put it out now, display it for the month, for the last, well, you can display it all February, right? You can display it all year long. But I love it. Lover's Lane. We're all here to love. I actually think it'd be super fun to frame your picture. I had it in this picture frame earlier to show you. But I had this, I just love this. It kind of goes along with that. I wanted to show it to you. I might have showed this to you before, but it says, I have an entire forest living inside of me, and you have carved your initial into every tree. I absolutely love this saying. I put it out for Valentine's Day with my cute little initial tree back there. I moved it over so you guys could see it. I just love trees, and I think initials and trees are so fun and romantic. So I hope you guys enjoy your Valentine's Day and enjoy loving. We're here to love. We're here to love and to be loved. So I hope you're loved by anybody and anything. Anyway, you guys enjoy. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.